collectors and may not be suitable for children under 13 years of age. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again with a special Sunday SITREP. Really, to be honest, it's not special. It just special goes with Sunday. So there we go. And my guest tonight is Dr. Dad from the UnboxDocs, Danny. This guy, we became friends way back in 2013 in Charlotte, North Carolina because of the infamous CHARTICON. That was one and done.
Sadly.
Very sad. That was such a fun con. And I think I met you guys beforehand, didn't you? Weren't you all gathered around one day and I showed up at Retro Reboot? And that's kind of how we met.
Yep. We were at Jacob's store, and that was where we first met. And then we were all excited about, going to the con and doing that whole spiel. So
that's because I didn't know there was others like me. I kept all this stuff hidden. I was like, man, nobody needs to know that at the time, God, how old was I then? 40?
Oh, yeah, those 10, that was a good eight years ago, right? Yeah.
It was. I can remember that because that was our last free summer before Dylan showed up.
Yeah.
Because little did we know he was at CHARTICON too.
And my little Roman was there, man. We had kids not far back to back.
I remember because we had the
following month.
The German, what do we call it? The daddy shower at that German restaurant.
Yeah. Trying to remember where we went. That's a great place too. Out in Pineville. I cannot remember the name of it at the moment, but yeah.
All I know is it was a lot of beer and a lot of meat.
Oh yeah, man. It was a good time.
Well, how are you doing tonight? We got a couple people watching us right now.
Yeah, doing great, man. I can't complain.
Excellent. And I was just talking to Matt Baldwin. You're going to be on his show Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to get you all over the place now. You have teamed up with the right people. And I just got to know, has the thumbnail trick worked? Have your views went up a little bit?
I feel like it has. Definitely a little bit of intake on there. Yeah, I appreciate it. And they're not terrible to make, just a little bit of extra time, but it's enough that's worth it. So
yeah, because when I first started, my thumbnail was, he's back there in the back, MPO1 holding that American flag. And he took up most of my thumbnail. I mean, every video I did, there was Prime holding that American flag and just a little image of the figure I was reviewing. I forget who it was, told me, says, you need to drop your logo down because that's all we see. Every video looks like you're reviewing that figure. So, and then I got with the whole idea and the logo and the American flag thing, and I've rolled with it, and it worked.
Yeah, no, dude, your logo is awesome. And the whole setup that you have, the differences, in the different types of videos you do, it's very noticeable.
Oh, thank you. And I have no idea where I came up with the green grid for Toy Hacks, because nothing Toy Hacks does has a green grid. I just
went with what goes with it, right? Yeah,
exactly. Well, who we got? We got David, Vinny, Elite, Slow DK, Silver, Tiamat. Love that name. Dungeons and Dragon fan right there. And Chauncey. 11 people spending their Sunday night with us. I guess they're watching us instead of the Oscars.
Yeah, true. My wife's watching the Oscars right now. So there you go. That's what Dr. Mom's doing.
Well, I was almost late to this. I told you I found a new TV show to watch. We just recently got Discovery Plus.
Oh,
and first off, I was real excited because all of Mythbusters is on there. All of Man vs. Food, all the shows I used to watch. And then I realized that Adam Savage had a new build show. And
that's actually a little older.
Him all day.
Yeah, Adam did that one not long after. I think it was a couple of years after the Mythbusters. And it's really neat. So you've seen a good number of episodes?
I guess I finished all whatever seasons up there. The last one I was watching was the
Iron Man suit.
What's that? Yeah, that was the first episode.
Yeah. This is so awesome, man.
And the fact he was flying. That was so cool. Well, Troy's just hopped on. Kato just hopped on. So we got a pretty good group here. So first off, for those of you who don't know, if some of Danny's friends are in the chat who have no idea who I am or what this is, my SITREP series is a series of 10 questions I have for my guest, 10 questions regarding him as a Transformers collector, and 5 questions as a Transformers collector and 5 questions as a YouTuber. So got confused my own thing here. So starting off, why don't you tell my people a little bit about you? Because you're not specifically a Transformers channel.
That's correct. I'm majority an unboxing channel. Transformers is my background and my beginning. And from there it just like expanded into, you know, like other geek things, right? So like I did G.I. Joes and stuff like that, and then they started creating the unboxing stuff, right? So like the loot crates came out and things like that. And what interested me to begin with were shirts. So like this is actually a loot crate shirt, and it's an Optimus Prime, so it just doubles, you know? Like I'm like, you don't get better than landing in a new hobby and getting something from your old hobby that's still great. So started off with that, and then it was the fact that I'm like, you know, I primarily wear t-shirts when I wasn't in my, you know, 9-to-5 job, and they always had these neat shirts. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get these boxes just for, you know, just for the t-shirts. Everything else is fodder. Either I get something good or not. Deadliest Warrior is also a great show, though.
I was looking all over for that. That's not on Discovery Plus, though.
Yeah. The Bounty Hunter show as well, by the way. Battle Box Bounty Hunter was pretty good, and that's a Discovery Plus exclusive.
Ultimate Dodgeball on there. It's called the Dodgeball Thunderdome. Oh my God.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, I have Discovery Plus, as anyone in our standards should. So, but yeah, so back to the unboxing. So, you know, started doing the unboxing stuff, and I've been doing it. Oh man, I was doing it before CHARTICON. So I've been doing unboxings for like 8 years. I just never decided to put it on camera. And after a while, I was like, you know, I opened like 8 or 9 different boxes. I was like, I might as well. I have more than enough boxes that I open in a month to shoot enough videos to like keep people interested.
And what's cool is you involve the whole family.
Oh yeah, man. The kids, they're all about it. Like, you know, Dr. Rome, Dr. X, my boys, they've been all about it. I posted a video on there called one of the first unboxings. And it's them when they were really little. And they were unboxing some Transformers rescue bots, the Dino rescue bots. So that's a fun video that I have out there. Just something random from when they were kids. And then I have another one that I had to pare it down. It's like 35 minutes of them breaking into like one of those little like Treasure X where you have to like pickaxe through all the stuff to pull out the little pieces.
Oh yeah, Dylan got one of those before.
Yeah, and they're super messy, and it takes forever to get through it. So I'm like, I'll eventually pare that down to something that I can.
I remember Dylan had one of those, and I finally got bored watching him. Went back and got one of my hammers, and I said, "Here, use this."
Correct. I hear you. Yeah, and I let them dig through it the whole time. And they were just little, so it was just something we always thought about doing, and then just never pulled the trigger on, you know. And then a couple of years ago, you know, good old pandemic and stuff happens, and you're like, I need a new hobby. Like,
and I got to give your son mad props because how old's he? And he tried this.
He is 13. Yeah, Dr. X is 13, and he
hated life 2 seconds after putting that in his mouth.
Yes, he did, and then he did it in such the hardest way. Like we had him break it up, and then he ate individual pieces instead of trying to put it all in at once. And
I saw that.
That was
like,
his
demise.
My
God, that's horrible.
Yeah, he drank a liter of yogurt afterwards, and like we got drinkable yogurt, and he like killed it off, and then was still like in pain for a good little bit.
I was amazed. But chocolate milk is my go-to. I had that. I mean, that wipes it out immediately. But I've done it, and I know that if you can suffer through that first 5 minutes, you're good.
Yeah, yeah. And
that's
then
all
it starts to dissipate. Yep.
So yeah,
we got a couple more people on. Awesome.
There he is, Fire Talks. Every time I show up, he sees that damn chip. That chip will haunt you from forever.
Oh man.
You were on with him when he was telling the story about running back to the hotel bathroom and went to throw up in the toilet, and the toilet was more piss than toilet.
Yeah.
Apparently, Transformer fans cannot hit the ball.
Oh man, and they don't always know how to take a shower either. I mean, you just came back from a con recently. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I know. I guess that was the one benefit of TFCon in Baltimore was we had to wear masks so we didn't smell the funk.
There you go.
But I remember when we went to CHARTICON and my wife walked in that door the first day. She walks right in and is like, nope.
Yeah. Yeah. Couple reasons why she couldn't handle the smell. That's how we just didn't know of all of them.
Yeah, I know.
But
All
man, yeah, that
right.
was a good time. Though we went back to my room that first night, and we had Daniel Ross and John Bailey with us.
John Bailey. That was really cool.
That was awesome.
Look what they've done now.
I know, right? It's crazy. It's crazy, and it's awesome, man. I mean, I love them for it. You know, they definitely they hustle hard, and they get what they deserve it. So.
All right, we've been 10 minutes talking about random stuff. Let's go ahead and get into the SITREP, and we'll start off with Transformer questions. First is number one, what's the appeal of Transformers for you?
Oh, man. Good question. Easy answer, actually. So it's the whole multiple toy situation, right? Like, it's not just one toy. It's a minimum of 2 toys. And in some cases, like when we had the 6 changers, like it was 6 toys. Like it was just, you know, you didn't need many of them to have a lot of fun. Like with just 2 of them, you had more than enough to do stuff with. And then, of course, I grew up while the cartoon was going on, right? So that cartoon was everything for us. And it just made me want all of them. Like, that's pretty much what it came down to.
A daily 30-minute commercial.
That's right. That's right. That made me want everything. For sure.
And see, I didn't have the TV show like, you know, a lot of people lived in the city. I could only watch the cartoon show if I came and visit my grandparents here in town.
Oh, wow.
So my generation one was Marvel Comics.
Okay.
And of course, that was almost as bad as the cartoon show. They just introduced figures per issue, and you're like, oh, I need to get that one now. And of course, it's Marvel Comics' fault that Bludgeons and Thunder Wings are so expensive.
That's crazy.
All right. Well, aside from Generation 1, which is always the number one answer, what's your favorite Transformers fiction?
Ah, man. So I got a couple, and it's kind of hard to pare down. So animated was one of my favorites when it came around, as well as the Prime series. Like the Prime series, I felt I was like really invested into the Prime series. It could have just been because I was older as well, and it's kind of towards, you know, geared very much towards us. But animated, I don't know what it is about their style, even the figures that came out with that series, and then the way it was rolling. I always regret we did not get, was it a season 3? We didn't get to that one. And, you know, they were going to introduce our big boss, Omega Supreme, was going to be part of the season 3 line.
If I remember correctly, I mean, they ended it at season 2. I mean, it was a fairly decent ending. It ended right there, which is, you know, I could accept that end of that story. But yeah, it could have went on.
Oh man, well, I mean, they introduced Omega Prime and then Omega Sentinels. That's right. At the end of So I was completely expecting another season, because do you know how much money they would have made if they were released at Omega Supreme and Omega Sentinel? Like, oh man, they would have murdered it. Like, you know, it would have been great.
Now, did Cybertron came out before animated, right? Because I remember it had the giant figures, like it had that giant star screen.
Yeah. Cybertron was the end of the Armada trilogy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was that era where I wasn't really watching the shows, and I was getting the figures here and there, but I just wasn't that invested in them. I didn't really start getting really, really back into the figures until the Siege line, because when I started collecting again, my main focus was G1.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Another series, man, that really stands out for me too is Beast Wars. The writing for Beast Wars is off the charts. Some of the best, in my opinion, like when it comes to the whole series of Transformers. Dinobot, like, I mean, he was like a poet. I mean, you know what I mean?
And I think what worked best for that series is it kind of sucked when you were collecting the toys because your new figure never showed up in the show. But the fact the show said, all right, we're going to have 10 people on this side, 10 people on this side. That's it.
Yeah, it was that budget,
they wanted to introduce new characters. They just killed off the other ones.
Yeah, they had to keep it in budget, right? They're like, we only have enough to make this many characters on screen. So that's what we have to keep it to. Inferno, by hands down, my favorite. Beast Wars. Yeah, so you did a review on that guy, man.
Yeah, and then I just got this fella.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
And I just right before I reviewed him, I went back and rewatched the 2 series he was in, or the two episodes he was introduced in. I was like, man.
Man, Inferno, man, his diehard, loyalty. I love it. It was almost Soundwave, but just completely, comedic, right? Like
Yeah.
Soundwave's undying loyalty, but just in the most comedic fashion possible. So, and then just some of the mannerisms of that show, Megatron, like when he's petting his arm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Brushing the teeth.
Yeah, yeah. Just those little subtle things that they call out. And then, it's just all around great show. So, yeah, kind of hard to choose one after G1. I mean, G1 being the base, but then there are several standouts. Armada, like the trilogy wasn't fun for me, but the toys from the trilogy to me were some of the best.
Well, see, I love gimmicks.
Yeah.
And, especially a lot of G1ers don't really like the latter year after the movie Transformers. But, man, I loved Power Masters and Headmasters and Target Masters.
Yeah.
And, like I just recently reviewed this guy. You roll him one way, he turns into a robot. Roll him backwards, he turns into the truck.
Vehicle. Yep.
I've never had this before. This was so cool.
Oh yeah, no, those are definitely neat. The spark bots, all those things, all the little gimmicky stuff like that is great. But like when it came to the Armada line, I immediately was drawn to the minicons. At one point, I had every minicon, including like there was one like it was they're all like this big. It was a dragon, and I cannot remember his name, but he was like super limited. I mean, when I sold him for like $700. Like he was super.
You're shitting me.
Yeah, I'm not. One little guy that big. Yeah. And a lot of those sets, man, when they first came out, like Japan went crazy with them. At every event, you can get your hands on, one of them.
I remember
doing
Kmart
something.
had a lot of different sets. Of course, I never bought any of those back then.
Yeah.
I got like a bunch of little 3-packs. And I got just a few mini cons lying around. They were part of my mass Transformer purge in 2011. But
oh yeah, see, and those are some of the first stuff that I sold as well was those because they would go. Like I had Japan did a DVD line. It was the Armada DVD line or Energon DVD line, and they had individual packages as well as some of them that came with 3. But they created like the Shield and Perceptor, and it was like a pack of 13, man. And those were super. Again, some of the they were pretty rare. They were exclusive to Japan, and a lot of those little sets of 3 that came like special from like Toys R Us or whatever, they would go for like $50 a piece. It was crazy. But yeah, I had them all at one point. I was well over 700 minicons or something like that. It's a huge line of just like all the little guys and all the repaints. I was an old collector.
Into Armada that much because to me, just in my mind, I thought all the Autobots were very play schoolish. They were all kind of chunky and brightly collared. Now the Decepticons were awesome. I love the Jets. I mean, the Jets were badass.
The Jets have always been badass. Let's be real, right? Like, yeah, the Armada Jets were great though. So one of my favorite molds next to our classic mold, actually, especially with the double shoulder cannons. Like, yeah, they were.
I like the whole pull the wings out for swords thing. I guess it was only one wing, but that was still
it was one wing for the sword. But yeah, so yeah, they definitely had a neat setup the way they were built, and then they each had their own race car minicon that would unlock the double cannons.
And when I got Skywarp, because normally the Seekers, the 3 are always just recallers, and then you got Skywarp that had that crest and the face plate, and I'm like, all right, that's a badass Skywarp.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man, they did it well. They did it well. So yeah, that series was neat. I think it was the Cybertron where they were able to combine. So like you can combine randomly 2 of the figures, and several of them like there were ones that were made for each other to combine. Like they made the figure that you would find in the show. But you can combine other ones together as well.
There was a Kmart set that I bought that I absolutely loved. It was Prowl, and I forget what the other one was, but they were both collared the same way, black and white.
I think it was Prowl and Inferno may have been the ones that joined together. It might have been, if I'm not mistaken. Because was Prowl a truck in that one?
No, he was some kind of indie police car. He looked like Dragstrip, but as a police car.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember which one that was, but yeah, I know what you're talking about, man. They definitely Primal. Yeah, it was definitely an interesting setup. Like I like the toys definitely more than I like the show, though. That was
that's the way they were reaching back for the. What's funny, you got a few years later, and they went to the computer generated cartoon as well, and that newer computer generated cartoon looked worse than Beast Wars.
Yeah, very much so. Very
I
much so.
never, yes, Energon Rodimus was a truck.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, he kind of almost looked like a tow truck in a
Yeah,
way.
yeah, that's right.
But I could never get into the Energon. I could never get into Cybertron. I just did not like that animated style. And that's what pushed me off on animated as well.
Mm-hmm.
I started watching it. And remember when you first watched animated, there was that opening scene that had the G1 style artwork. You're like, oh my God. And then it went in that cartoony style. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. It was wild, but I remember not liking animated when I first started watching it. It took a couple episodes for me to like get into it.
It was the end of season 1 where Megatron finally got freed, where that show decided to say, hey, the adults are watching this, not the kids. I mean, it starts off with Blitzwing freezing Ratchet's hand and breaking it off.
Yeah.
Megatron forming up. It's like, okay, I like this.
Oh yeah. It was definitely it was a good one, man. I like the way they did it. Like I said, I wish it would have continued. There's a couple G.I. Joes like that too. G.I. Joe Renegades, which had very few G.I. Joes in them. Like the main guys.
Was that the one where Cobra Commander like had the half face like this?
Yeah.
That ended just as it got good.
Exactly. And that was due to like I think one of the main writers died.
If
I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and that's why that show just ended, because it was going places, man. Like they had just gotten back in the fold with Flint and the rest of the team. Like they decided they weren't enemies of the state.
Destro, and then Cobra Commander got his face, and then at the end it was over.
Sad, man. It was sad because it was great. It was like one of our last Josu.
And that's what sucks about being a science fiction fan too, because it never fails. It feels like whatever science fiction show you start watching, once it gets good, they've already canceled it because nobody was watching it.
Yeah. I didn't watch Firefly, but everyone I know is like, Firefly is one of those shows where it was getting really good and it just went away and everyone's like, I still want it back right now.
Well, I remember back in the 80s, like everybody knows I'm a huge V fan.
Yes.
And I snapped a picture the other day and somebody saw this in the background and thought it was a swastika. I'm like, no, Google some things.
Yeah, seriously.
And so I remember in the 80s, the original V television show ended on a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And I just discovered recently on Tubi that they had the 2009 V series. And I thought I never got into that when it came out because I was such a diehard original 80s V fan. I didn't like how this one went. So I got to watching it, and I'll be damned if this one didn't get canceled on a cliffhanger too.
I always feel that shows should have an out clause. Like, if you know in advance you're being canceled, you should be given a final episode. Wrap up everything. I think every show should go to that. Like, if I was to make a show and I'm signing the contract and be like, listen, if I get canceled, I want to have a final episode air so we can like give closure. There's so many shows that end like that. Spider-Man 2099 was one of them. I think it was 2099 or Unlimited. Spider-Man Unlimited. It ends with, a major cliffhanger where you're like expecting a big war to happen in the next season and there's nothing. Like, like so many shows, man. I can probably make a big list of that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that's another video for another time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's Slow DK's right. I was on there today just surfing. I have seen so many old shows and old movies that are in my watch list right now.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine.
Rodimus agrees, man. Tubi's something else. When I first heard of them, I was like, okay, they had the old Transformer episodes. They had old G.I. Joe. But now they're just getting everything. So,
it's very true.
Some of it's hard watch. You say, man, I loved that as a kid. And you're 15 minutes in, like, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. I agree.
All right. Where we are. Question number 3 at 20 minutes in. Do you have a favorite figure in your collection, a grail, a figure you would never get rid of?
Oh, man. So due to the fact that I just pared down and I'm only keeping sound waves and blasters.
Really?
I would have, yeah. So like when we first met, I had a room very similar to yours. And they were all I did all Detolfs. I had probably 9 Detolfs slam packed with everything. And then the tops were covered. I had pictures on the wall. I had figures on the wall. I mean, I had well over 1,000+ Transformers before I started paring it down. But after you collect so much, man, then, I had 2 kids, so I had to give up a room.
So that's what I told Lisa. Said, we can't have another one.
Yeah, there you go. So I was like, all right, if I had to start selling things off, what's not going to get sold ever? And it happens to be just everything Soundwave and Sound Blaster, or
Now,
Soundwave,
are
Sound
you
Blaster.
particular? Do you go for sound waves and blasters that resemble their G1?
Oh
Or
yeah.
you go for any incarnation?
So I have some of the other ones like the animated, and I have like Cybertron version, but the G1 mold is definitely my favorite. I have Soundwave in G1. I have his Shattered Glass that was made by eHobbies. That's the exact G1 mold, just completely white. I even have like, the Soundwaves that I know are not going to go far, like the Linkin Park Soundwave that will probably end up just shattering into just gold dust at some point.
What was that god awful ugly one that just came out? It was yellow.
The Jay Blavin,
Yeah, I
like
guess.
the Tiger Stripe one. Yeah,
I
like
have no idea who that is.
I have it. Like, like I had to pick him up, right? I was like, it's Soundwave, and I said that's what I'm keeping. So, yeah, by far, Soundwave will be the last figure if I ever get rid of it. I have both the TRU and the Takaris Masterpiece versions because Red Eyes, Yellow Eyes.
Yeah.
I had to get both of those. I have Sound Blaster because he came with Rat Bat. Yeah, so when it comes down to it, I even picked up I do the tapes as well. So I even picked up the two Bumblebees that came out, like the Garage Bumblebees. They did the Camaro and the Bee.
Oh, where
it came with the Dino cassettes.
Ones?
Yeah, and it came
I
with
missed
the Dino
out on that.
cassettes.
I almost bought one, and they were like $50 at GameStop, and the guy's like, nobody's ever interested in Transformers. I'll let you know when this thing goes on clearance. I'll be damned. He calls me next day. Somebody came in and bought it.
Oh, man.
Nobody ever buys Transformers in my area.
I hear you. You're probably causing an uptick in Transformers in your area.
Probably. I actually bought this. That's the same Bumblebee, but this is the premium finish.
Yeah.
I haven't even taken him out of the box yet. I've had him for a couple of weeks. And I opened him up, and I don't see why he's a premium finish. He's a dull figure. He just, I don't know. Yeah. I missed something somewhere.
But yeah, so I picked them up just for the tapes. So I got them, took the tapes out, took the weapons out, sold the figures. I'm like, I do not need these Bumblebees ever. And I could probably get more for the tapes than I can the figure. So if I ever do have to sell it, the tapes will bring in enough because they're the dinosaur tapes, and there's only 4 of those.
And they combined, right?
Yeah, they're like Beast Box and Squawk Talk and all those guys. Those are the only 4 that I'm missing.
Wu, Beast Box and Squawk Talk.
Well, no, the originals we had a Beast Box and Squawk Talk in the G1 line.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so those are the only 4 that I'm missing. I never went with the third-party tapes. I did pick up Sonicron back in the day, BTS Sonicron, which was their version of Soundwave, and he's like a full cassette deck, like the not like the Walkman
know the one
style,
you're talking about
but
now.
wasn't there like the speaker attachment almost?
And didn't they have a Rumble and Frenzy that were the headphones?
No, they did all just the tapes as well. And they did like a Constructicon set of the tapes. They did several different tapes, and Sonicron itself was horrible. He broke upon transformation, so I never transformed him. I left him. He's still in the box, and then I got all the tapes that went along with him, and I was like, I have them just in case I ever, decide that they're worthy enough to pull out and display. But because they can't transform, I just leave them all in the boxes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, some of that situation. So it's definitely Soundwave, hands down. I would actually get rid of my blaster before Soundwave, just because Soundwave is my overall. I would align with the Decepticon clan because of Soundwave.
You just answered question number 5. I can skip that one. And he was all about the voice. I remember being a kid, and when you're in the floor playing with your Transformers, you had Soundwave. You tried to do the voice as best as you could.
I even bought some some software at one point to try to replicate the voice, like the reverb and everything. And it's so hard because one, unless you know how to change all those numbers yourself, I just kept trying till I gave up. It was like one of those things I only had so much attention for. So
I've been watching in the side of the chat, and they're talking about shows that got canceled early, and they're bringing out the Mike Young He-Man, the 2000 He-Man. That was an amazing series that just
I have that on my list to watch. So
I have it all on DVD, and you can't find those anymore.
Nice. Yeah, I have all of the Transformers. You know what? I did not. The War for Cybertron. I mean, it was okay.
That's how we all start talking about that. Well, it's all right.
They tried, right? I guess they don't have, like, I don't know why they can't dig up the original. Does somebody own it? Because if I'm not mistaken, it was copyrighted, and that's why we didn't see it.
What,
Like,
the voice?
Yeah.
The reverb?
Like, the reverb, yeah. I think there's something to do with that they're not pulling out the exact one. Like, come on, that's easy. They should be able to pull that off without anything, but they don't. And I want to say there's something behind it, but I do not.
Well, you think Hasbro would have it because that voice is what he sounded like in the Bumblebee movie, unless something happened between them and.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, so then, why aren't they using it? They should just always use it. Like, there's no need to change Soundwave's voice ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's this.
Ravage, eject.
Yeah, there's your freebie for tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the exact same voice. Because I remember that moment in the theaters when I was like, ooh!
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, definitely. That's that's the best voice, man. I think the latest one that I picked up was the War for Cybertron, the Netflix War for Cybertron.
Did you find one of those?
Yeah.
My podunk area was constantly getting stopped.
No, I wish I would have noticed that.
I think I hit up every one of my tight friends or Transformer collectors. Hey, I'm at Walmart. There's 3 more of them. You guys want one?
Oh, man. Yeah, I would have been for it. Yeah, that's a great figure. So I picked up both of them, that one and then the regular line that, turns into the gun. So, like, the Netflix turns into the cassette deck like it should.
Yeah.
But
did you get the little core class Soundwave?
No, I did not. I still need to grab one of those.
If you haven't had one, if I go to my Walmart again, there's like 4 of them. Just they're shelf warming from Christmas time.
Okay, yeah.
I'll see if there's one left.
Yeah.
All right. Well, number 4, what figure is your white whale, your most wanted toy?
Oh man.
Yeah,
so
question.
What would I? Okay, so it is from our Pretender line. And it's the Japanese version of Monstructor, whose name is Dino King. So Dino King, which is the repaint of Monstructor for the Pretender line, one that I never got my hands on. So it's one that just completely eluded my collection in general. And it was due to, of course, by the time I was in the state to get it, they were very expensive. And I was like, I can't justify that plastic money.
I remember back when the original Monstructor hit the shelves, that being the last Transformer I ever bought was Ice Pick.
Oh,
it was just one of those. I was at that age where I still liked the Transformers. I still read the comics, but you don't want to be seen buying toys, And I remember I worked at a grocery store, and the grocery store was next door to a department store that had the toys and arcade. And we'd always, after schools when I worked, but like my shift wouldn't start until 4:30. Get off school, I'd always hang out the arcade until it was time to go to work. And I remember walking through, looking at the Transformers, and I thought, well, that one looks cool. And I remember picking him up, and it was like one of those kind of embarrassed to buy it. That was the last Transformer I ever bought.
Oh, wow, man. Yeah. I remember being in college.
And now.
Yeah. I remember being in college when the Rid series was out, and I really liked the Galvatron and Megatron figures because, they were the ones that they had the multi-change to them. Was that the Rid series where he did the multi-change? He had the wings. Yeah. So I remember going into my Toys R Us when I was working at GameStop and ran across the street to the Toys R Us, man, and I was like, this is what I'm buying. Like, yeah, it was just something that, while I was in high school and college, I had them. Just no one ever really knew, Like there was no one to tell.
Yeah, when he comes out next year.
Yeah.
He's not going to be being reviewed anytime soon.
Yeah. The His Tank Megatron, right?
I had to get him. Megatron. I'm like with your sound waves, how I am with Megatron.
I got you. I still say that, they did the Shockwave for the SDCC crossover. And if they were going to make a transforming His Tank, it should have been Shockwave.
Mhm.
Shockwave fits his tank way better than Megatron.
In the Devil's Due series, do you remember reading that?
I did not.
I think Optimus Prime was a his tank. I remember the Seekers.
What?
The
Yeah.
Seekers were Rattlers.
Mm-hmm.
Megatron stayed a gun because Cobra Commander kept him locked to his side. But
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Prime was a his tank in the Devil's Due series.
That would be neat. And if that would be such a great obscure repaint, right? Like it would make sense to do it. You got the mold now, right? You might as well retool it.
Well, I mean, if they're going to do wild repaints, I found out when I was reviewing this guy, when I did some research, he was originally going to be a military camo green recolor, and he was going to be General Optimus Prime.
Oh,
so
neat.
But they scrapped that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Prime was one of those figures, man. The MP11 was one of the molds that I almost went after all of them. At one point, I had a couple of the Bapes. Like, the great thing was I had a contact out in Japan. So, like, that's the beauty of being a toy seller, right? The people you meet. So having a personal contact in Japan that I could reach out to and say, this is coming out, I need it. And they can go get it for you, and you don't have to pay all the crazy extra to get it, was great. So, like, I had the Bapes. And
okay, Jay Lee, thanks. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, the Red Hiss. There you go. Yeah. So, like, having the Bape figures in the MP11 mold, I mean, those were going for crazy money, and I was getting them at retail price plus shipping, overseas shipping. So, that it was a beautiful time, man. And because I was a mold guy, like, what's one of my favorite molds is Cybertron Scattershot, the Cyber Defense, where he has the two big, like, he's got the arm cannons. If you look at the Cybertron Defense series.
I've got the Drop Shot. Is it Drop Shot? He's kind of a tan.
Yeah.
I've got that mold.
He had several. Yeah, so Drop Shot, I think, is a Decepticon version of that mold. And then he was also part of the 2009, it was Flak, I want to say, 2009 BotCon, where they did the animated, not animated line, it was the Wings of Honor. I think it was the animated line. He was used in there. That mold was used in there as well. And like TFU Info, man, that's where I lived when it came to what figure was I going to buy next. I was like, okay, well, I like this mold. So go to TFU Info and find out who else was in that line. And now you can actually use, what's the other good guy? Transformers Land. Yeah. Matt over at Transformers Land, his database has grown tremendously. And you can see mold reassignments there as well. So those were sites that I would go to. Classics Bumblebee, I have still that I'll eventually sell. I have probably, they made 9 or 10 of those. And then thanks to Azim over at Renderform, he made all the different heads for like Goldbug and a couple of the other figures. So I bought several of those heads and swapped so many of those molds out. Like I have, so I have Cliff Jumper, Bumblebee, then you have Goldbug. I have one from Jason at Get Right Robot. He did a hubcap, and he repainted it with like a cherry red, and I won it in auction on eBay.
Nice.
So like I got a bunch of those, man. It was just one of those figures where I just.
Do you still have your Get Right Robot Sharkticon?
I have both. I have the general and that one, as well as one that I still need to paint myself. That I bought the kit for, and I have a bulkhead. I just never did it. But my Sharkticon stuff, even though I pared down, none of that's going anywhere, right? Like, can't give that up. Like that's I was part of that, right? I brought that to life. I was part of that. So
that's where I got
to hang out forever.
The name of the channel now.
Yeah. I mean, dude, it's so great to see that, like knowing that I had a part in that. It's like awesome. And I'm like, So
one of these days we got to hang out together. Maybe a TFCon will head down Charlotte.
For sure. And even if it doesn't, I the next TFCon that you guys are going to go to, I mean, we know over a year in advance.
Oh,
so so I'm gonna make it a point, man. Like I regret not going to the last one after seeing all you guys together. I was
it was so much
how did
fun.
I miss that? Yeah.
And it was like immediate PTSD after we left. Oh God, I miss those guys. Going down the road, life's gonna suck now.
Oh yeah, man. So I'm for it. I'll definitely make the next one. We'll get to hang out for sure. I mean, I I think it'd be a great time. Like all of us running our channels at the same time when we're all together. You get every angle and every story. So for sure.
All right. Well, that wraps up all of our Transformers questions. Now we're going to get into you as a YouTuber.
All right.
So, what possessed you, a grown-ass man, to do toy reviews on YouTube?
So that was kind of easy. Like, well, number one, how many times have I been watching toy reviews to know if I want to buy something, right? And then
Exactly.
seeing some of my good friends do it, and then like your channel, man, like we got a lot of Transformers reviewers, but everyone's so different, right? And like you bring a level that I enjoy. Like, it's just like you're like an announcer to me when I'm watching. It's great. Like I'm like it's like a different Jason almost. But yeah, so like seeing them all, and I'm like, man, all my buddies are doing it, and we're all in the same age bracket. So it's like, man, let me and then I got my buddies, I got my kiddos, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, my kids want to do it. I'm like, I can cement time with my kids. This is like a time capsule. Like I have this, and it's going to, as long as YouTube stays alive,
Yeah.
I have digital documentation that I can pull up anytime, and me and my boys before I lost them to being teenagers. Right? I'm already on the cusp of losing X as it is.
My kid don't give a hoot anymore. It's all
Dude.
He's so about the Nintendo right now. That's like when I got this guy right here. I showed him, check this thing out. Check this giant figure out. Oh, he's cool. Right back to Zelda. Well, whatever.
It happens, man. Yeah. Dylan's a hoot though, man. I'm telling you, like, if there's a kid that's camera ready, it's him. He's so much fun to watch. Like, especially like when he was doing the chip challenges, and he would just continuously eat the chips. And then to this day, my favorite was when he was on the news for the flood, though.
Oh, I
like
know.
when you posted that, I'm like, this kid's made for TV. He doesn't even know it yet.
And that thing went viral because we were on our way to we were going out of town to go shopping, go have dinner. We went down that we call it the Island Park, which is here in town, and there was a flood. And I was like, he says, I need to tell people about this flood. And I think he was like 5 or 6 at the time. So I just turned the camera on. I posted it and made that little Weather Channel thing look like he was on the news. And
yeah.
By the time we got home, it had 36,000 views. I'm like, what?
Dude, no, it was great, man. Like he definitely excelled on that one. He's a character. But yeah, man, so it all came down to like, everyone I know is doing it. Everyone's having fun. Like I said, been unboxing for years and just never pulled the trigger. And I guess it was like a timing kind of thing, and then had all this time, saw everyone else, and I'm like, man, I was watching a unboxing review actually, and I'm like, why do they take so long? Like all my videos, like if I can cap it under 8-9 minutes, I do. And it's like, that's why like everyone else is like all about the reveal. They're like, I'm going to pull each item out of the box. And I'm like, as someone who's looking at this, I want to see everything. So I just dump the box out onto the table. I'm like, here's everything in it, right? Honestly, if you want to cut right after I do that, because you see what you want to see, I'm okay with that. I see it as a service, right? You got what you wanted to know. Do me a favor, use my link if you're going to buy it. Like at least give me that respect, because you got everyone else. Everyone else is dumping their stuff, or everyone else is pulling out one at a time. 15 minutes later, or if you seek yourself through the video, you finally got to see everything. Where honestly, within the first few minutes of my video, you can see what you want. The rest is my opinion, right? So how do you feel about the way I feel about it? So I give people the option, like, watch the whole thing to help me out, or hey, at least you got the information you were looking for, and my service is fulfilled. So
I've started doing the little timestamps on my videos because people complain, you always do that Toy Hacks thing in the beginning. I was like, well, that's how a sponsorship works.
Yeah.
So you got the Toy Hacks in the beginning, then you can watch me talk about the figure for the intro, or you can go right to the bot. You can go right to the transformation, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick to how I do it because it gives me another way to appreciate these figures, because before I'd get something like this, I'd take him out of the package, transform a couple times, on the shelf he goes for a few years until I decided to pull him down one day and mess with him again.
Yep.
Now I can show him off, talk about him, introduce people who may have never heard of this guy before. And to me, it's an extension of the hobby, and I find it, to me, as a coping mechanism, because I don't have any outlets for anything. I mean, I used to go to the gym all the time, but then that kind of fell apart. And So this now, when I'm in my head, I need to come and do something else. This is what I do.
Oh yeah, man, it's
So
constructive and it's fun.
therapeutic for me.
Yeah, I understand that, man. That's a great thing about it. I love it too. Like unboxing it with the boys is great because of their reactions. Like Rome's just he's full of surprises when it comes to his faces that I'm going to see when it comes to what's dumping out of these boxes. Like so.
Well, Dylan loves anytime I get like gifts to the channel and I'll do an unboxing. Dylan sits here. Well, which one's for me? He's like, well, they're not for you. Well, why am I in here? Well, I thought you'd like to do.
Yeah. I still want to do I want to get Dylan and Roman to do we're gonna have to get them to do some kind of live unboxing. I'm deciding on what box I want to do it with though, because like I know Dylan likes his Pops.
Oh yeah.
So like
Pops and Nintendo right now and whatever
the
hell
so that's
Five
why I was
Nights at Freddy is.
The Mario box, like the Mario box that I do. I'm trying to see if I can get like 2 random boxes built, and I know they have them on the channel, but I haven't seen any in a while or on their page. Where they're not themed, like they can be Mario themed or Luigi themed instead of just like random Nintendo stuff. And knowing that Dylan's into the Nintendo, I think something like that would be great. So they're going through a reformat right
Mario,
now.
Pokemon, Zelda, and Five Nights at Freddy.
Yeah, FNAF, good old FNAF. I'm with you on that. Yeah, my boys are. Yeah, they're on the same hype train. So. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be fun. His reactions to stuff are always great, and I think if so that would be a great one to do. We'll have to set that up at some point. Like I said, I'm going to try to find a good one for them to do together. Dude, Mario, BotBots. I watched an episode of BotBots today with Roman on Netflix. That's a silly little show, man.
It's
especially
very
the
silly.
whole yeah. Like
we started watching it last night, and Dylan all of a sudden starts playing with Dipper. So I went to change it because it's not for me.
No, it's definitely not made.
And as soon as I hit pause to go back, he's like, "What are you doing, Dad?" I was like, "Well, you weren't watching this." Yes, I was. So right back we went.
Yeah. So it looks like I'll be watching, this hamburger run around and do stuff.
Well,
but it's definitely, it reminds me of what's the last series of Transformers that they did that I just wasn't a fan of on Cartoon Network. I gave it a good try, man. I just couldn't make it. I think it was Cyberverse. I couldn't do it. I tried hard, and I just couldn't do the Cyberverse series. Did you do that one? I watched
was the series where I guess it took place after Prime, where the Autobots were all vehicles, yet all the Decepticons were animal based.
Yes, I did do that one.
Who looked like this?
Yeah. I did do that one. I think that was the last series that I watched through in its entirety. But even towards the end, like, I don't remember how it ended.
I remember that Starscream came in. I mean, they actually brought in the old G1s.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But like you, I can't remember much.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that series, even though I know I watched it, I can remember some of the characters. Like, they had, like, the one guy that was a crab that I thought was pretty hilarious. Like, he was a funny character to me.
Yes, that's the last one we watched last night. And yep, that one had a message. I was ready for He-Man to come on the screen and tell us about the moral of that story.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to check that one out. But yeah, man, like I think that was the last series that I remember watching, and Grimlock was all right to me in that one, him being the big, him being a dinosaur, being a fun character in that one. But I just couldn't do it. Like, I tapped out of that one. And then the Netflix series, as much as it wasn't the best, but it was better than what we've gotten recently. So I think that's probably why I liked it.
See a Transformers series specifically to us. I mean, for our age group.
Yeah. No, that would be great. I think that would be great to see. And it would need to be animated, or even like the CGI. I'm fine with that. The last movie, the Bumblebee movie, was pretty good. I was actually okay with that movie compared to some of the other movies, but I want me a good animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Like that still will always be my go-to and my favorite when it comes down to it. Like any of the animated, I will watch that over live action anytime, just because they can do what we want to see,
Exactly. And that's just one that just never seems to age. I mean, not because I'm biased. I could right now go downstairs, pop Transformers the movie in, watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm always entertained. The music,
I own it like 4 or 5 times.
yeah.
Can't help it, right? I got it on VHS. I have the original DVD, and then I have the Blu-ray, and then I have the 4K. I have the 20th anniversary, and something else. Yeah.
I'm safe. The wife's asleep. I actually bought a 4K TV for that 4K Blu-ray. Of course, I'm always like, well, honey, it's time that we update to 4K because Netflix has 4K. But no, I specifically bought that TV.
That is great. no better reason to upgrade. I hear that. That is hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I've never, and I'm not even like, I don't even really do DVDs anymore because we have everything at our fingertips when it comes to streaming. For that just tells you where my love stands when it comes to that. I'm like, hey, that DVD's coming out. I'm gonna pre-order it right now. Like, I heard it was coming, and I didn't need to know anything else. You know, like.
Well, for me, I love streaming. I love the fact all these movies and shows are at our fingertips. But ones I really love, I get the physical copy of because you just can't beat the physical copy because you pop one of those in, the picture's going to be better than streaming. The sound quality is going to be better than streaming.
Oh, yeah. So, always. Hands down. Hands down. It's worth it.
All right. Where were we? What keeps inspiring you to get in front of your camera?
My kids. But yeah, like that's pretty much like, I would love to say, yeah, I'm gonna hopefully one day, live off my YouTube channel. I mean, it's a nice pipe dream, right? But no, man, it's my kids. Like we enjoy doing it, and I mean, even our fan base is super small, and we get rarely any comments. We got a couple of loyal fans that we get the comments from, and can't appreciate them more. Like I'm looking forward to at some point, like, start doing some giveaways and stuff. And like, like that's something that I look forward to doing because giving back, like even when I was running the toy store with Trent, shout out to Trent if he ever watches this. We had a good run with Lost Treasures and doing giveaways for like, masterpiece coins or stuff like that. That was always fun. Like, seeing somebody be all excited over, something, minor that is fun to give away, a little collectible. So
that's what's cool about like doing these streams right now, doing the live giveaways. It's cool. You get that interaction, which is fun. And speaking of which, there's 21 people watching this right now.
Awesome.
Dr. Dad's channel is in the description of this video. Click on it, subscribe, help a brother out.
Yes,
He's got funny stuff.
Oh yeah. I appreciate it, man. Yeah,
he's a good guy. He's a Transformer fan. And look at the beard. His beard makes Deluxe Baldwin's look pathetic.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I'm working on my devil beard myself. Dylan told me that the other day.
When I style it, it's mostly to a point majority of the time. It starts to come back out, of course, because it's getting really long. But
there you go, buddy. Jay Lee subbed.
Good deal. Subbed. Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, man. Check us out. Trying to get a little more life. Sometimes when I'm watching some of the videos, I look at myself and I'm like, I should probably pick up my attitude a little bit. I'm just all serious when it comes to my logical thinking.
Well, it's so funny. Like I'll go back and watch one of my old reviews. Somebody's mentioned one of Facebook groups found a Deluxe Insecticon chop shop. Want to know who that figure was? And I was like, well, this guy, and I sent a link to my video. He was one of the first figures I did right after I hit 1,000 subs. And so it's back when I was just super serious talking about the figure. I'm like, man, I am not animated at all. And it was funny. Like once I hit my stride, that was like, that's the personality that's sticking in all my videos.
Oh yeah, no, I get you. And yeah, watching some of your earlier videos are funny as well. You know what? Some of my favorite things, which you actually just did recently, is your bloopers, man. It's like, I watch it, I'm like, that's Jason. Like that's, like it's so genuine. So what I've been doing, and this is because of you actually, anytime we have one of those, I've just been archiving them. Like I'll do the video, I'll cut it the way I need it, and then I'll take that file, the raw file, and I'll drop it into a folder called bloopers. And I'm like, when I have enough to cut like a good 5-6 minute blooper reel, I'm just going to cut.
That one I did yesterday was just right off the cuff. I was like, oh, and this guy, and I just dropped that car.
Yeah. And I'm like, those are the things that I think are great. And besides doing that, I may use those for like for what I do, it's kind of hard to do a short, right? Unless I just chop together an unboxing, just chop it to item. Because other than that, like, you kind of really need to know what's going on. But I'm like, bloopers would make great shorts.
Oh yeah,
because they're usually just quick nonsense, and it's good for a laugh, and that's what it should be for.
Yeah, of course, my biggest problem, well, you've known me for years, is when I get mad, that military language comes out.
I mark our videos not safe for kids, even though they're like 100% safe for kids. But actually, I gotta say 99% safe. When I meet people in public and I give them my card with my QR on it, I'm like, listen, there's a chance like a shit or something along that lines is gonna come out because I'm an adult with no filter and I have my children around me who hear me. So like, I don't think twice about it. And like, gotten the best responses from parents. They're like, if that's all they hear on your channel, they're doing great. Yeah. I'm like, all right, good deal. Just letting you know up front, right? Like,
there is a guy, I'm going to have to, he might have been on a show with us one time, Diecast Norbs. And
he was on our first one. We did the Mortal Kombat review.
He's got the funniest disclaimer. It says, hey, my channel's intended for those over the age of 13 because I may say some shit.
Right off the front, right? Just out the open. Diecast, man, that's a good dude. I see some of his stuff on, we all follow each other on Instagram, so he shows up in my feed quite regularly.
I don't think there's been one person I haven't met doing stuff like this is just not a genuine good person. They just enjoy. I mean, this YouTube thing has branched out way more than just talking about plastic robots.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I hear you.
Deluxe, who you're going to be on his show Tuesday night, Deluxe is the one that inspired me to do something like this because I'm very small town area and not a feel sorry for me moment, but I don't have any friends around here I hang out with. My life is go to work, come back home, go to sleep, go to work, come back home. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you.
When my job changed and, most of my good, tight friends moved away and I stayed here. And it's just nobody. And then like Dylan's in school and I'm like, yeah, okay, Dylan's in school. You'll meet parents that way. But Lisa and I had Dylan in our 40s.
Yeah.
All these parents are in their
20s
to 30s. They ain't hanging out with the grandpas.
Oh, yeah. No, I hear that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, right there. Rod said, that's why we live for these live streams. I mean, for us, it's like, hey, Saturday night, 9:00, let's all get together. Oh, and man. I know in the chat likes watching us, but for us, it's our chance to hang out. It's like we just all met at Applebee's. I mean, some of us are in there drinking, hey, talk.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like people hop in. All these guys are going to talk about Transformers. 2 minutes in, they're like, no, they're not.
Yeah, it's everything, right? It's life. It's how we do. I think it's great, man. I enjoy it, and knowing you can get 10 people on there, man, I'm down. You let me know.
Yeah, I'm going the paper now. So
yeah, oh yeah, man, I'm for it, man. Yeah, it's a good group for sure. And the guys you've introduced me to, man, like right off the bat, it's like hanging out with a bunch of buddies, man. Like we're all like-minded people,
and they embrace you immediately. That's like Rodimus at TFCon. We went down to the lobby, and I'll be honest, I have more fun hanging out in the lobby than actually in the showrooms because everybody they corral around each other and it's just story after story. And it's like, you may have just met this person 3 minutes ago, but you feel like you've known them forever. And it's all because of plastic robots. It's correct. It is amazing.
Oh yeah, man. It's so much fun, man. Like being around the like-minded people. My first Transformers experience was BotCon 2006, or was it 2005? When they did the Beast Wars series. The set was a Beast Wars series, so they had like and it was mixed. It was the Beast Wars. It was mixed with Cybertron because everyone came with keys. So like
I know the ones you're talking about.
Yeah, I want to say it was 2000. It might have been 2006. Was the introduction of that line?
That's the one where Megatron was the Red Alert reroll.
Yeah, the Red Alert, the Cybertron's Defense Red Alert.
What's funny, this is how good Transformer fans were. Just by me doing the motion that he had a large missile on his shoulder, you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
This guy.
He was also one of those, one of 1,000, if I'm not mistaken. They only made 1,000 of him. His price went insane. Like, at one point, I want to say at his highest, it was like $1,200 or $1,300 for a completed. Yeah, I had him in my collection for a good bit. He was one of the first figures I sold after my first son was born. And dude, he got snatched up so fast over the shoulder. The black side. Yeah.
I have nowhere to put him. He looms over me until I can find the shelf for him.
You need a big bot. You need a big bot display. Because you got several of the
I've got
footers,
every one of them except Fortress Maximus.
Yeah. So yeah, you need a big bot shelf. So that way you can like mount it low and they would just sit with everybody.
They're all displayed right there, and I could probably squeeze him in if I do a little bit of rearranging.
I got you. Yeah. Because that's I mean, those guys are just so humongous. They were one of the reasons why like I would get mad at my debt off. I was like, all right, none of you guys are fitting in here. Like you're all gonna have the house on the top shelf for a while. One of my favorite pictures that I did back, it was right after the Fort Max, it was Fort Max when they redid Fort Max. That was about 8 years ago when we got the last version of Fort Max with the big red guns. What series did it come out?
G1 reissue or
no, not the G1 reissue. It was was it War for Cybertron?
That's the one I didn't get.
Yeah. So when they brought him out, we had the TFCon in Charlotte not long before that one happened as well. So when he came out, I was still selling. So like I had 3 buddies that wanted them. So I picked up 4 of them. And I laid down Little Roman, all 6 pounds of him, in between 3 of them. And I was like, one of these things are not like the other. And I'll have to find that picture, man. It's he was smaller than than Fort Max, like so it was just one of those fun little pictures.
Titan's Return was the line.
There you go.
And I guess that makes sense because Titan's Returns when they brought the Headmasters back, or Titan Masters.
Yeah. And he was just, he was such a beefy figure, man. And then of course, I told you I was a mold collector, so they brought out the exclusive with all the chrome.
Yeah. And
I was one of the few that got my hands on one of those. When I was in it, man, I was on the pulse. I was like, I could get almost anything. I toy hunted for people, and I was one of the cheaper toy hunters. I put 10% on it, and I would get you close to your best price. And it was because I had connections. A buddy of mine that we call Roy Bot, he was over the toy room at CHARTICON. It's a big, tall dude. I found his grail, which was Overlord, the G1 Overlord. Yeah, picked it up. He got it for $350. Tell me who's getting a G1 Overlord for $350 6 years ago. Like, that's the kind of connections that I had floating around, man.
If you happen to find something like that again.
I can keep my eye out, man. I still reach out to people every once in a while. But yeah, man, like the community of that group, like when you get your hands on the right people, like you can get anything you want at a fair price because, there's guys like us that are like, hey, man, I'll just hook you up because I have that ability.
Well, I've made friends through this. I got an email today, a buddy of mine in Texas. He's like, I'm at Target right now. They got kickback and drag strip. You need them? Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if we all helped each other out, man, we can bury the scalpers. As a seller, it was kind of funny because like the guys were like, you should wear a swindle shirt. And I was like, but I should get like a shattered glass swindle shirt because I'm the guy that's going to take care of you versus like just try to dig your pocket. I got buddies that'll tell you, man, when everyone was paying $700 to $800 for that Cybertron Defense Megatron, I sold one to a buddy of mine for $400 because I got my hands on one.
Yeah.
I will take care of the people that take care of me, like that's just how it works. Like, tit for tat every time we can, like take care of the group. I'd get you anything that I can at the best price I can because that's what we do for each other.
Exactly. That's what our community does. I mean, I know there's a bunch of us there in the chat. I mean, we're on there all day, nonstop talking to each other. Well, Fire Talks today, what figure did he find? He was at Target and found the Buzzworthy Silver Streak. I totally forgot about that figure. And he's like, hey, and he bought 4 of them before he even messaged us because he knew we won anyway.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, and that works out great. Now, I mean, of course, when there's a profit to turn, like on an item that's super hot, I got to make a little bit as well. I mean, the way I support my channel is by selling either stuff from within the boxes, or if I like the box that much, I just eat that charge, man. But I'm like I keep selling so I can keep buying.
Hell, that's what you have to do. I mean, it's like it just rotates around.
Yeah. So on the items that I know I can make a buck, I do.
Yeah. I just packed up all of my Star Wars collection. I thought I could sell some of these, but I don't know I don't know how to price Star Wars stuff. So it's just all in tubs in the closet right now.
It's painstaking, man. eBay sale. Like you look it up on eBay and look at what they sold for. And then it's where do you live? Like when it comes to me, I live in the price range of as long as I make $1 more than I paid for it, I don't care. So when I put these things up for auction, I'm like, well, everyone's making $50 on it. All right, well, I'm going to start mine off at 40. And if I make 40, I'm going to be happy because I don't need top dollar, man. I need enough to run. Like this isn't the retirement plan. I'm a database programmer by trade. Like that's what I do for a living, and I'll continue to do that until I can afford to retire. And then I'm a collector by heart. I'll do everything I can to keep that going forever. Like there's no retirement from that.
Even though they keep jacking them prices up, I'm like, I'll eat it because I love it.
Yeah, man. Plastic is expensive. Plastic is definitely expensive.
That's like with the new legacy figures. They cut out that plastic window. I'm like, okay, you've jacked the price. There's not near as much plastic on the figure, and now you don't even have a plastic window for us.
Yeah, like, come on.
All it would take is one asshole with a Sharpie to just walk down the aisle and just ruin everyone's shit. I probably just gave somebody an idea.
Look, we got enough guys, man. Going to Walmart. We've all taken pictures of it, like random figures and packaging that we know is 100% incorrect.
Yeah.
Or the guy that was removing heads from figures.
Yeah, that was the Space Jam figure, wasn't it?
Yeah. I'm
because
like, come on, man. Like,
challenge.
I mean, it was garbage to begin with, but come on, leave people alone. Like, I'm sure somebody really wanted that figure, and you're like going around like removing all the heads. Like, you're not fun. By no means.
He's edgy. He's edgy. He got him like.
But yeah, man, it is definitely it's fun. Like I guess I replaced my collecting of figures because that, as you know, takes lots of dollars. My wallet was screaming all the time, especially like I share love with Kato, man, the third party. So third parties, when I was heavy into the collecting, like Fans Project, they were ruling the world. They were putting out what felt like 2-3 figures a month at one point. And I owned all of their Headmaster line. I owned the Dinobots, all the Dinobots that they made, all 7 or 8 of them, because they even made the extra, like they made the female bots. And then Mastermind, I owned his combiner. He did the good. I enjoyed the. What did he do? The Feral Rex. So Mastermind MMC Feral Rex was one of my favorites. TFC, I did their CHARTICON Hercules. So like I had so many third-party figures, and those were all like $100-$120 a pop. They were not cheap. They were not cheap at all. And
unfortunately, I never got into third part. I got a few.
Yeah. And
I can see where they're so addictive, but I'll complain. I'm not going to spend that much money on that figure. Yet I'll drop. I mean, I had all of the legacy figures pre-ordered and paid off. Yet everybody's hit me on Facebook. Well, I found him here. So I was like, fuck it. And I bought them and just canceled all the pre-orders. So now that money I paid off, I'll just put on another pre-order.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, whichever way we get, it's always way to go with it. So, but yeah, I mean,
because as soon as I pay my credit card down, I'm like, shit.
I hear you. But yeah, it's an expensive hobby, man. So when I started doing the boxes, I started trading off. I was like, well, because I was a mold collector, I would get every mold, and then they got heavy into repaints. And I was like, now I have 8 of these or 9 of these. I have the not Armada, Animated Prime. Animated Prime was one of the ones that got several repaints as well. Like we got the main one, and then they did the main one with the wing pack that he came with for season 2. And then Japan did the Elite Guard, and then they did they did the Black Optimus. You know, we got that one, and
like a Nemesis Prime for animated.
yeah, we got a Nemesis Prime out of the animated with the nice big hammer, and then or battle axe, I should say. Then what we get? We got the retooling for Mixmaster, Motormaster. And then they also did another one for. They did the Toxin. Was it Toxin? Was his name?
Toxitron. I think
Toxitron. Yeah, he was part of. Somebody's gonna know. They did him for the BotCon. I think it was the same 2009 when they did all the other animated figures. They did another one there. So yeah, it was one of those. I mean, it comes in molds, man. It's one area where I kind of excel. Like, who's got this mold? Who's got this mold? The Seekers. I had every.
Oh my god! I've got so many Siege Seekers.
There's 21 of them before the Siege line. I think there was 21 or 22 classic Seeker molds. Like Generations used it, you know. So Generations brought out the whole line, and then you had several of the. We had the Rainmakers. They did several Rainmakers. So, and then the BotCon line, they had the 3 Rainmakers there. So,
you know, that's the only Siege Seekers I never got was the Skittle Squad, the Target exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I had them in my cart over and over again. I was like, I don't need them.
Yeah, looks like we're losing Raz.
Oh,
he's out for the
Raz.
night.
Thanks for stopping by.
And I need to, you know, my spelling's off there when you type on the keyboard trying to look at the camera. But yeah, I mean, it's something that will definitely never leave my bones, man, is my Transformers collecting. Like, I've tried several times. I was like, all right, I'm out. I'm like, there's too many. And I would sell off like 100, 200 figures and then be like, Then they just brought this one out and it looks all nice and I'll just buy it. I'm just going to buy the one.
I've got a few that I have bought that I thought I'm excited to get, but they have been in the box since I got them months ago. I got that X-Men jet. He looked cool. I took him out, transformed him once. I'm like, this isn't for me. He's in the box in the corner. The Jurassic Park set. I wanted so bad. I couldn't wait till I got it. And I'm like, it's in the box over there.
It happens. I remember buying several. I think it was probably the original Rid line, 2001. That I was buying some of those figures just because I was like, well, I got to complete the set. I'm like, I don't really like, especially they had odd transformations for a lot of those. They weren't fun to me. Like, if I got to look at the instructions after the first couple times, I'm not.
See, that's why I didn't like the Studio Series line. I've got the Megatrons, and the last one, the Megatron that turned into the truck, that was the most pain in the ass transformation. And they're just, like I said, if I get pissed transforming it, it's not. So I never really got into Studio Series, though I do like the Bumblebee ones. I've got all those. And I don't know if you got the Legacy Bulkhead, but that pissed me off. Super easy transformation if you can find the hidden hinge that it doesn't show in the instructions.
Yeah, it was in the waist or something, right?
Yeah, because even Kato and I both, because I had the whole front end of him, and I'm looking at the instructions, I'm like, well, it shows his legs like this, and it looked like I was solving a Rubik's Cube with that figure for like 30 minutes before I finally noticed a pin. I was like, well, what's that pin go to? And I popped it. It's like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, if you ever feel like you're going to break it, like, so G1 Black Zurich, actually, right? Like, who's transforming him nowadays? You got to have some major balls to be like, I'm going to transform.
I love my Beast Wars Transmetal Megatron. I used to play with that thing all the time. And now,
when was the last time you touched him?
Exactly, because thanks to internet and gold plastic syndrome, he hadn't been transformed probably since early 2000.
Yeah.
Then I have G1 Roadblock over there. Great looking figure. I don't know if you can see him. He's in the green.
Oh, yeah.
Great Pretender shell, great vehicle mode, but the Interbot, completely gold. I've never transformed him.
Not
worth
worth
it. Of course, I've got Monstructor here. So.
I still have, I don't know if you remember, man, this, golly, I don't even know. I don't even think your kid wasn't born. I don't think my kid was born. I got Bludgeon. The Bludgeon shell and hat from you. Pretender Bludgeon.
because the
Yeah.
hat was warped or the helmet was
Yeah.
warped.
I completed that bad boy because I had the inner bot. But what cost me was the little cannon. $95.
Yep.
I paid $95 for that, but I had everything else, man. I was like, and when you get everything else for $40, I'm like, you're at a steal here, man. I'm like, let me just complete him. So he's
And
one that I'll probably
pretenders are
hold on
so
to.
hard to complete.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've got 9 or 10 of them, man. Like I've got a decent number. I got a double dealer, complete double dealer. He's one of the ones that, tough to come by. Picked him up complete. So
I think about my entire G1 collection. I'm missing the 2 orange guns for Fast Track on Scorponok. I've got two.
Wow.
I've got 2 reproductions.
Okay.
That's the one advantage of having buddies that are into 3D printing.
Yep.
And I'm missing the spear for Chop Shop, the Insecticon. And I think that's it.
Oh man, that's not bad, dude. I mean, there's the G1 line's humongous bear. So if you got everything else, man, you're sitting really well.
At least I'm pretty
Do
sure.
you have the G1 dinosaur cassettes though?
No.
Yeah.
I just have pretty much all the
Are you
American.
talking about the American line? Because I was gonna say Japanese G1. Now we're just getting into a huge number of figures.
I started once. Well, I got every Generation 1 Decepticon.
Okay.
The Autobots, pretty much up into the Headmasters. The only Autobot Headmaster I have is Fort Maximus, was a pretty good Autobot Headmaster to have.
Yeah.
And they're just way too expensive. And yet I get into these, and of course now, thanks to nostalgia, I'm starting to rebuy some Beast Wars figures and just odds and ends. I finally broke down. I have always wanted a wheeljack. This is my original G1 wheeljack, missing everything. I broke down and got one of the KOs because I know the original wheeljack's about $140. And for me, it's just going to be on my shelf. I'm not going to resell it. I'm not going to lie to people and say it's an original.
Yeah.
And right out the package, this thing feels like this guy, but I wish they'd left the stickered applications to me.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you can take care of that.
So I'm going to be toy hacking him up before I review.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can see that. Yeah, that is
I know
poor.
a guy.
That is poor application for sure.
What's bad is, where are they? He came with stickers. So he came, it looks like the old sticker sheet.
Oh, okay.
But why they decided to go ahead and put the roof sticker on crooked is beyond me.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing I noticed. He came out, I was like, that son of a bitch is crooked.
Yeah, you're talking. I mean, you're like me, man. I will rip out a pair of tweezers to put on some stickers in a heartbeat to make sure that I get them perfect. They did the Prime line, the Japanese Prime line. There were stickers for all the little mini cons. Like, actually, I haven't opened it. It's one that I bought a while back and I'm going to sell. But like these guys. So like, there are stickers on these, man. Like, and you have to apply them yourself. Like, look at this hand. This is not a sticker applying hand. You're in the same
all
boat.
you need is your old man bifocals. Got your little pointy straight tweezers. You got your little crooked tweezers. Man, you're good to go.
That's exactly right. And that's exactly how I have to supply all of those stickers. There's no other way.
I love decals. Like I said, a lot of people do model build and stuff like that. Decals is just like my thing. Of course, now with me doing the videos, I have to make sure and do the before shots, and then I'll spend a couple days putting the decals on, then the after shots.
Mm-hmm.
Next
it could take some time.
List, I've got the decal set for this glorious bastard.
I watched your video on how to fix his arm. Talk about a pain in the ass. Like the shoulder. I'm like, when you got to go to Napa to fix your transformers, somebody needs to be paid. Like, we need to get a discount. Like,
and that was one of those ones. I'm filming it, and if I break it, I'm still filming it anyway. And I mean, I'm just
you were in it, man. You were in it. But like, all the technical points to that video, like, bring the arm this way, so when you're separating it, you're not, you're not extending any extra plastic. You're not causing stress marks in certain areas. Like, that was one of the best videos I've seen in a while when it comes to how to hack together a fix, like how to fix it, man. Like, you took the time to put in all the detail, and like, opening it on camera. You don't know how many videos that I've seen where the guys are like, give me 1 second. And they're like, pause and then come back and be like, okay, so I finally got it off. And I'm like, no, man, I need to see the pain you went through because I'm going to have to go through that. Like,
I think the only time I edited it was like a long shot of me just going, you motherfucker.
yeah. Now you do. Yeah. You edited it. You're like, okay, I've been doing this for a while, but I just pared it down to like the last piece. Cause you would see where you're like, hold on, I gotta really get in here. So yeah.
And I can't remember, did I show my thumb where it had put such an indentation in my thumb?
Yeah.
I got a lot of videos out of Galvatron. I got the figure review. I got fixing the shoulder. I got taking the schmutz off of him. I got the toy hacks details.
Dude, your restore videos, you did, or was that just pictures you did on Facebook? I mean, we've been friends for so long, man. You remember you'd like get an old G1 figure and it would be crud. And you'd be like, I'm going to put him in a Dawn bath. And
that was my Jetfire. I thought about doing a video on him, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. So it was just like my project over the spring. Yeah.
And you did pictures, I believe, of that. And like,
I did all kinds of pictures.
But I'm like, talk about something that would be neat for people to see. Like the restoration that you've done. There's a need.
Now, I have done a few restoration videos on Pretenders because you always get Pretenders and they just look like shit. They're just always gummy, nasty. And I've cleaned up a few of those. I think I did a restoration of a Pretender Jazz, a Bumblebee.
I want to say that I saw your Jazz. Yeah.
I don't know. I've done a few of those. And actually, I have the vintage Toy Hex decals that I apply to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just neat, man, because like those, like seeing like how you've like cleaned them up. It's almost like, you ever watch the restore, like the guys restored the old cars on like Discovery Channel and stuff, or they restore an old Coke machine that somebody had sitting there in their house for years. I'm like, to me, like when you're washing up a transformer and doing new decals, that's what it reminds me of, man. I'm like, there's an art to it, it's something you're taking pride in. Removing yellowing.
I love doing. I have one left. Let me see if I can get him. It's a G1 quick switch, and he's in perfect condition, except he got his leg snapped off.
Oh,
right there on the peg. And if I can find a really good super glue and I can line that cut up perfect, that quick switch is going to be in perfect condition because there's no scuffs on him. Stickers are good. He comes with both weapons. It's just that.
You should look into some JB Weld. And
that's like the putty though, isn't it?
The 2-part compound, yeah. But you can spread it out. Like you can, after you build the compound, you can apply just a little bit. I used the JB Weld. I'll have to find what I have and send you a picture of it. So my shredder, when I was moving, it has wheels. So my wife was like, I'm just going to wheel it into the house on the concrete. I'm like, dude, this is office furniture. Like you can't so the wheel snapped off and it's completely plastic based down there. And it snapped in the plastic and I welded it together and it's alive and kicking. It can roll across the carpet with no problem. And I'm like, because, glue and plastic is some of the hardest stuff we can do. But
I got this stuff. It's this Loctite Ultra Gel.
I have some of that.
This is really good stuff. So I was going to try with it first. And I thought if anything else, if I could get a longer screw to go through the peg and into the body of the figure, I could fix him. And then I might just flip him for a cheap price because I already have one complete. So.
Yeah. Hey man, bring it back into the fold. That's always great, right?
Yeah.
We lose transformers all the time to landfills and everything else. So
I got this one I want to restore just as a easy fix.
Good deal.
Didn't have a gun or anything, but
like I said though, seeing you restore them, man, especially when you give them the new decals and stuff, like give them life. Like it's like bringing it back.
Yeah.
So that's always neat to see. But dude. So you said your channel's been off 7 years?
No, going on 5.
5 years.
This October will be 5 years.
Holy, 5 years. That's amazing, man. I know. Like it doesn't feel like it's been that long, honestly.
No.
But when I click on your channel and I click on videos and I see the number of videos, I'm like, oh, it's been 5 years. So it's good stuff.
I enjoy it. I
I
definitely
think we
enjoy it.
might
Like I
still
said,
have a question left over. We went long on the last one there.
yeah, we do. I think we've answered about everything. Yeah, let's just go ahead and skip the last one because it
Yeah.
is 11:30.
Yeah.
Do you have any channel goals for yourself? Where can our viewers find you? This is your chance to plug your channel.
Okay. So channel goals. Well, right now it's definitely breaking 100, right? Because we haven't even hit the 100 mark yet. Honestly, I would hope that in the coming time, like I really want to get a lot of crowd participation for my first giveaway. So I'm thinking like once I get to 500, which is it's not a paid level at all, which that's not really what I'm doing this for. But I think at 500, there's enough people to start trying to give some stuff away. I definitely, with all the boxes that I have stuff to give away. So that's the goal there.
Now? Where are you right now?
I think we're at 70. Let's take a look. Actually, we had a couple subscribes since we've been on this. So I was at 70 and some change, I want to say, and I'm at 85 right this second.
Well, what you got to do is plan
100.
a small one for 100 because even hitting 100 is a pretty good number.
Yeah, this is true.
And I would do these StreamYard things. They're easy to set up. They're easy to bring people in. And like you said, you got the chat interaction. Of course, me being the host, I'm seeing my interactions a little different.
Yeah. Now, what would probably be better though is until we grow the channel a little more, I'll probably just one of our Saturday nights, like when we're all doing stuff, like I'll have the item. We run the hashtag. We do it on your channel. I'm fine with that, man, because I'm still, everyone's still seeing me. And we'll just, I'll send it out to, if anyone from my channel wants to win, they would just need to join the stream as well, right? So
there you go.
We share it across the board. It's,
would be, say we do it on my channel or something.
Yeah.
You have to be subscribed to you.
Yeah.
In order to win.
There we go. I love it. Keep
it fair. Keep it easy.
Yeah, and we could definitely make some stuff like that going. I mean, especially like I run the gambit when it comes to these boxes, man. I have Marvel boxes, I have Lego boxes that I do. The Geek Fuel, which they're going through some changes right now, which I've been doing Geek Fuel boxes since 2017. I want to say is when I first started with them, and I've seen them go through changes. Like this last change now, they're paring down. It's going to be like a T-shirt and an item. And I think it's like a $5 credit to their store that they're building. So it's very different from many of the boxes. And it's like $20 plus shipping. But I've been with them through their original when they were like, hey, we're going to release a box monthly. And then I guess they were probably running into logistical financial issues. And they were like, all right, we're going to move to a quarterly box. And I stuck with them the whole time. And they've always found a way to survive. So because of that, I feel like loyal to them. I did a box called Nerd Block at one point, and they did people so wrong. Like when they folded, anyone who had a subscription, I heard many of them didn't get refunds. They still owe me items missing from the last box, which I've just given up on. I'm like, that's never gonna come to me. So but yeah, we do those, and then of course when it comes to this, we run the gambit. I have a link tree on all of our videos, so we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and everywhere where you are, we're all following each other on those pages. So the Gorilla Super Glue is some good stuff.
Oh, I'm going to have to look at it. I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah, and it comes in the same precision tubing.
What's that?
It comes in the same precision tubing that you had, like the one that you just showed where you can squeeze the side and get just the bead worth. Gorilla makes the same kind of container.
I'll have to get some of that. Well, yeah. I was going through my instruction booklets earlier, and I found another whole stack of these Decepticon stickers.
Very nice.
So I thought
you have those in plethora.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So let's do a giveaway tonight.
All right, good deal.
Do 2 of these. Like I said, I give these out. These are great decals. I applied it one live. No, not on this, or not live on this guy, but I fixed him up. So they look really good because they're clear, got that clear backing where he is talking like Yoda. Yeah, I put one on Dirtbag here. They look really good.
They do look good.
Two sets of these to one lucky person in the chat.
Let's do it.
You're my guest. What will the giveaway code be?
Oh man. So
Your name.
all right.
That's it. UnboxDocs. UnboxDocs. See how it's spelled right
There we
there?
go. Yep.
That's
#UnboxDocs.
that's your
Capital
giveaway
U,
code.
capital D. I like it. I like it.
Grab the one I just dropped.
So when you send stuff out, this is on the air question here. So let's see. When you send stuff out to people, do you have like a PO box that you use? Because that's always been my thing. I'm like, man, how do you send stuff out? You
Just on the mail. I have
all
a
right
label. Throw it
Yep.
on there.
Yeah, I thought about that, man. I was like, do I like, we got kids and stuff. I'm like, should I get a PO box? Like, it's one of those things that I think of.
I ship. Well, anytime I deliver stuff, I ship it to work.
Yeah.
So
Okay. There you go.
So.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Slow
talking about.
DK,
Man,
no
like,
hashtag this time.
oh, no hashtag. Sorry about
just
that.
as you
I think I might
see,
have yelled out.
like Silver Tiamat
Yeah.
has typed and Fawn Heart 2000, type it just
Gotcha.
like that.
Slow DK, man.
See, I like to look out for my
Yeah.
people. Make sure.
Oh yeah, slow DK. You're gonna have to do it again. No hashtag, and it's not. There's no E, and one D there. So it's UnboxDocs, like Unbox Doctors.
There we go.
There we go. He's got it. Yeah, it's that thing, man. Coming up with the channel name was always the fun part there. We were like, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, I want unboxing in the name because that's primarily what we're gonna do on our channel.
Jarrett, you misspelled it.
Yep. Docs like doctors. Like, give it to me straight, docs.
Look at everybody else. See, I try to be fair.
Oh yeah, man. I definitely, when it comes to it, man, I want to do it. I want to do it simple. I'm going to do like some of those where it's like, comment on the channel, share the post,
Right.
get the word out there, try to build it up. And then, like, if I can do it, when I do the big one, like what the plan for when I get to 500 is it's going to be it's going to be one box per like media outlet, right? So we're going to do, someone's going to get a box on YouTube. So there'll be 4 winners, there'll be a YouTube box. There'll be a Facebook box, an Instagram box,
Neat.
a Twitter box. Twitter, it's so much easier on Instagram to reach out to people. Like, I feel like Twitter's dying when it comes to like,
I hope
people
Twitter
seeing things. Yeah, dude. What happened to you on Twitter is no joke, man. Like, come on, like,
yes,
our political
you gotta love the
affiliation.
Twitter death threats.
Yeah, like our political affiliation, whatever they are, like, it shouldn't matter. I mean, you and I are great friends, and we don't see eye to eye when it comes to a lot of that stuff. Logically, we see the way it runs.
Mm-hmm.
It's all what it is,
And what's funny is I have never mentioned my political affiliation, but I have this in my name. I'm this.
You are a veteran, man, and you fought for our country. If anyone's flying the flag harder, it should be you. You deserve it. You've done. I mean, dude, your tat says it all.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you my first year of YouTube, I almost quit just because of people like that.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
like, where are you
gotta let the
getting
trolls
at?
go.
So
Yeah,
but I kept on,
one.
and hell,
Yeah.
I started using it in some videos.
There you go. Yeah, definitely, man. Like, I mean, I look at it like, I mean, X. Like, I had a little bit of reservation of putting X on camera. I mean, X is autistic, and I gave him the option. I'm like, hey, buddy. I'm like, do you want to do this with us? And I'm like, let's find your niche. And what I found to be great is like he's talking more. Like, he's getting used to being with the camera. So he's like gone to more than just showing off the shirt. Like, he'll give his opinion, and that to me is everything in itself. Like, we worked really hard with him. Like, he's mainstreamed in school, and it's one of those things where like he is out there, and he couldn't make me prouder. He participates. He's cross country. He swims. Like, those
That's
things.
awesome.
Yeah, man. And it's everything is he decided. Like, I didn't have to push him. He's like, I want to swim, and I'm like, well, if you want to swim, let's do it. So, yeah, man, it's great. The community helps. Like, it, seeing him on there and the trolls, like we don't have trolls, and I can appreciate that. I know eventually that's going to happen. It happens to everybody.
Well, the block button on YouTube is awesome. I don't even give people a chance anymore. I see one comment that
Yeah.
brings up politics or something like, and I don't care what side.
Yep.
You're gone, because that's not what this is for.
Yeah, this is a happy community, man. We're here to have fun. We're here to, bring joy.
I am
like,
sick of the real world. That's why I want to visit Cybertron.
for real, right? And that, to me, that's the cons. The cons take us out of that, right? We're with like-minded people. We're not going to work the next day, so we can let loose and have fun and be 12 and 15-year-olds.
That's like the whole time at TFCon, there wasn't one I mean, like you said, everybody from different religions, backgrounds, whatever, none of that came up.
No.
Transformers, good time, military grade margaritas. It was
Yes,
awesome.
sir. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. And that's how it comes down to, man. Like, I think, like, I'm still waiting. I'm hoping this. I'm hoping Bert's hearing this. I need Bert to show up to one of these live streams that we're all supposed to be a part of.
Tell me
because
about
he's
it.
the one guy. I think he's hilarious, man. Like, I'm pretty sure that when I meet him, that we're gonna kick it off, man. Like,
yeah, he is great. He helped me deal with a lot of the things I was dealing, because I had kind of just met him. And he's on the other end of the spectrum of me, because we both do not agree politically, but we don't care.
Exactly.
And I would vent to him. I said, man, look what they're hitting me with. And he's like, it just helped. We became really good friends over that.
Yeah,
and he helped me through a lot of this, because I was having a rough time with mental things during this period. So
I got you. Yeah, man, I get it, man. And it's rough. I came so close to quitting all social media, because I'm like, I like my social media to be fun. So like, I even started, like, even some of my good friends, I'm like, if they were just too hard into the political posts, I'm still their friend. They'll always be my friend. But I just, your posts are making me sad, so I would unfollow them. And like, but then you got guys like Justin. Justin, he's a buddy of ours, man. I'm trying to remember if you would have met him at probably like at CHARTICON. He lives out in the Outer Banks area. He's there in North Carolina, but that guy, he's meme city. And if I could just have him show up in my feed at all times, I'm happy about it. Like, guys like that are what I want to see. So I pare my stuff down. Like, the stuff that we do, right? You show up in my feed all the time. And because of that, like,
Did you friend Bert on Facebook? Because he is the meme master.
I'm waiting to actually physically or virtually meet him.
Oh, okay.
So then we can actually, like, because we're in the one group. He was supposed to be with us on Mortal Kombat. He missed out there. He was supposed to be with us on the G1 episode that we tried to pull off. He didn't make it there. I'm like, come on, guy. Like,
but he's like the highlight of my channel. He's my super chat rewards.
Yeah, exactly. He's like 90% of the super chat rewards.
Yeah. He's such a great dude. All right, let's do some giveaways now. Let's get this up here.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. UnboxDocs. There we go. Start collecting the comments. We got 11 entries.
Beautiful.
So let's draw. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Go. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Stop. David Jones is the winner.
Congrats.
Reach out to me at Patriot Prime Reviews Facebook page or Instagram, because I don't do Twitter. I would rather eat flaming hot chips, some one chip challenges by the bowl, than be on Twitter. So yeah, reach out to me Instagram or my Patriot Prime Reviews Facebook page, and I'll get these decals headed your way. So congratulations, David Jones.
Yeah, man, I recently got back into going to wrestling shows.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I got a buddy of mine. We went to high school together, and she started a channel. Well, she's only got 2 videos in. She's got to find the time, really. But when it comes down to it, and she was reacting to like some of the more gory stuff that happens in, like, house show wrestling. And I was like, dude, I'm like, my wife hates to go see wrestling. I was like, but if you are down for some shows, I'm like, let's go. And I'm like, I've been watching wrestling since I was in diapers, man. I mean, I watched the first WrestleMania, so like, it's been part of my life. And trying to get the boys aren't really big into it. They like going to the actual shows, but they don't like watching it on TV.
There was a meme I saw the other day on Facebook was talking about how I forget what was comparing to, but then it said, and when you found out wrestling was fake, did you stop watching it?
Yeah. There you go. Right. Yeah. No, I still enjoy every minute of it. They are the best stuntmen that are just killing it on a regular basis to me, you know? And then when they do get injured, it's wild. Like one guy recently, he fell wrong, man. He broke his neck.
Yeah. I saw that.
Big E. And it was the best thing to see. Like that he jumped on Twitter and posted a video. He's like, I'm totally fine. He's like, I can move all my digits. He's like, but they told me my neck's broken. And I'm like, whoa. But he's also like, 300 pounds of like solid mass. And I'm like, well, the guy's neck's like this big. So it didn't completely take that much damage because he's just all muscle,
Yeah, no kidding.
Like he would demolish your gladiator challenge in a minute. Like
I miss doing that.
I'm
hoping,
gonna say, dude, that was a beastly challenge. I remember watching like you post stuff about that. And I'm like, I don't even think when I wrestled that I could have pulled off your challenge. And wrestling was 99% cardio. We didn't lift.
That's funny. I look back at pictures of me from 10 years ago. I'm like, oh, what happened?
You had a kid? You got a little older?
I got a desk job now.
Yeah. Desk jobs, man.
All right. Well, brother, I think we need to wrap this up. It is almost midnight on a Sunday. I got to get to work in the morning. I can't thank you enough for agreeing to do this. I mean, I should have got you on a long time ago. We've known each other. It seems like forever.
Yeah, it's been 8+ years.
Yeah, long time. Everybody in the chat, thank you for tuning in with us on this Sunday night as we just rambled and relived the old days and talked about these wonderful plastic robots. And it's funny, I'm always grabbing this guy because he's the only one within arm's reach. So.
Which is rare for you. You usually have at least 5 or 6 in reach at a time.
Well, I got this guy, but he's kind of hard to manipulate. Yeah. I don't want to share this one too much because he's my next review.
Save him. Yes. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So with that being said, if you haven't yet, please click the link below and subscribe to Dr. Dad of the UnboxDocs so he can do his giveaway that he wants to do so badly.
Yes. Oh yeah, man. I think those are fun. I like sharing the love, man. That's how it comes down to it. I appreciate it. And you can catch me on Deluxe's channel in 2 days.
That's right. Matt Baldwin, Deluxe Baldwin. Deluxe, you're going to be on his show, and trust me, he has completely different questions than I do, so you won't hear the same stuff over and over again.
Good deal.
So for those of you in the chat who haven't yet, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. This is Patriot Prime signing out.
All right.
Hoo-ah!
Take it easy, man.